devotional is called Lovely Silhouettes. And the Bible passage is Proverbs 31:10 through 31. But I'm just going to read Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? I've got several verses that I'm going to look up here. But when I was in kindergarten, in grade school, one of my teachers, her name was Mrs. Payne, and that was spelled P-A-Y-N-E. It wasn't Payne. She made us all do silhouettes. And we all went out into the hallway, and we sat there with a light behind us, and this person drew our silhouette. And I was in kindergarten, so I had a little ponytail. And on this silhouette, you could even see like the little hairs that was sticking up where my ponytail was. It wasn't quite in there. And I asked Mom about that last night, and I have that photo, and I can't find it. I don't know where it is. So today, we're going to talk about your silhouette. And when looking at the silhouette, you could tell it was me. I had my little chin and my little nose, and I had my little ponytail, and my dad thought it was just so cute. But it didn't show my face. It was just my silhouette. So we got 4 different areas I want to talk about today. The first one is loving in contrast. One thing about a silhouette is it's usually in black against a light background. And since I don't have the silhouette, I wear a lot of black. And obviously this is a white wall. You can see, you can still see my face because I can't cover it up. But you can see that it's a silhouette. You can't really see what's underneath this black. So it shows up in the contrast against the background of this wall. And to be lovely in contrast as a Christian, we need to be a contrast against the world. If we become like the world, we're just going to blend in. If I was the same color as this wall, it'd kind of be hard to see me. But since I'm a silhouette and I'm black, you can see me. And that's what I was going to show you with that picture. There has to be a big difference to have a deep contrast. Keeping that contrast between us and the world will make us lovelier. In Romans 12:1 through 2, it says, I beseech you, brethren, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. So we mean to be lovely in contrast. If you've ever taken a photography class or you've looked at a negative, you can see the white part around it, and you can see what you've taken, usually a person, you've taken a picture of it. That's the dark. There's a contrast there. Number 2, lovely in shape. A silhouette portrait follows a shape, just like when I was a kid. It follows a shape. It's the outline of who we are and what we are molded us. What do we have in our lives that have shaped us and how we think and how we act? In my silhouette, if I were to take off my jacket, you would probably see more of my body shape. And you would see a lady who at one time weighed over 300 pounds and has the scars of those hanging down. And through that addiction, I said I wasn't going to cry, but through that addiction, you're able to see what this woman has done to her body. And you would see the hanging flesh, a person who was trying to either hide her feelings or stuff them down for an apparent reason. We must depend on God's word to mold us and help us to grow in lovely Christians. As parents, we shape our children by the things that we do. In Psalm 119:11, Thy word I have hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from him. Number 3, lovely in the details. You've probably heard it said, it's all in the details. The details are a silhouette of a portrait, or partly that helps to identify what the silhouette is. What are those tiny details that reflect who we are as Christians? Are the things we think, say, and how we act, down to the very last detail, lovely? Those small details sum up us and the very little piece of our lives how we sync within Christ. We need to always be with each other and be with Christ. It says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, they will come to the light. And that's our contrast. Whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. That's Philippians 4:8. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks. So we need to give thanks. So you know our profile, number 4, lovely in our profile. You know, some people have when they get on TV, they're beautiful. You know, their face is beautiful. But down underneath, are they as beautiful as we think they are? You know, underneath our clothes that we have, you know, what do we have? If you were to see me, it probably wouldn't be pretty. You see some of these beautiful women, you know, what do they have on the inside of them? What's their character? What's their soul? They usually blend into the world, don't they? When we've turned on the TV or different programs, they blend in. They're not special. We as Christians are special. Number 4, lovely in our profile. Well, my profile's always not been that great. You know, they say, which side's your best side? Well, I don't know if I have a good side. It's all about the same. The profile of a silhouette portrait is normally from the side, and it shows that defining angles such as from the hairline down to the nose and on the chin. And some of us were born with a bigger nose than others or bigger lips, and you know, when we draw that outline, we might be able to pick out who was who. So we all have different attributes, but you know what? The inside of us is the same. We all have one common goal. You know, some people have now we have the receding hairlines, and we don't have the big hair, or we don't have if you were to take a silhouette of me, I'd have the big hair, and you'd say, oh, we know who that is. She's still got that. So when we see the profile, it's pretty easy to recognize them. When we think of those FBI profilers, we usually think of them hunting down serial killers and all that exciting stuff. We basically all profile each other. It's summing someone up for what they are and how they will think and act and react by weighing certain things about them, such as their behavior and their everyday processes. When we go somewhere, they'll say, you know that so-and-so, she's a pretty good girl, but you know, if she wouldn't go out and drink every night and she on Thursday night up at that college, she'd be a pretty good Christian. The things that we have about these people, we know them by their behavior. That's why a lot of times we don't want to be involved in that stuff, because we're not like the world. We're our silhouette. We're contrasting against that. Many of us have what we call profiles on our blogs and our faces and our Twitters and websites, and we have information and other social media sites. Those things we say about ourselves in order to sum ourselves up. And a lot of times, I know David has said, well, why do you got that old picture of you up there? That's not what you look like. You need to have an up-to-date picture. Well, we wanted sometimes forth an image that was our best. This was the best. This was the best me. And so in reality, people profile us just by observing us. Unfortunately, we are a country that likes to look at people and judge people first and ask questions later. So, but sometimes that people have feelings and they observe how we act, what we say, and take note of our behavior. Is that behavior lovely or reflecting to the Lord? It might be. In Galatians 2:20 it says, I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. That's who we should be molded like. That's who our silhouette should reflect. When we stand in our silhouette, we would hope we would see Jesus. In conclusion, a portrait done in silhouette, it's just the outline of someone. Little kids, I know that when I worked at a little preschool, we had a big thing. The kids were going to get to lay down on the floor on a piece of paper, and we were going to draw, the outline of them. And, when you put them all up, we knew kind of who they were. The kids, and they'd write their name, and then they'd color. But we only would know them because they would make the special things inside of themselves. We let them color it after we drew the outline. oh, that's so-and-so, because we knew what their likes and what their behavior was already in the classroom. So that was their silhouette. You don't get the whole picture when you just see someone from an angle. You see an outline of what a person would look like if you saw them in person instead of just a shadow. If I were talking in front of you in a veil and you couldn't see me, your mind, and you'd never met me, you'd think you'd have all these images of what I might look like of the person speaking. Different people's voices, whether they're low or high, and you have all these preconceived notions of what people might look like or how they might act. Everyone we meet and that comes in contact with us is not going to get to know us on a personal or intimate level. We may just, see somebody going by, hi, bye. Yet they'll notice how you act and how you behave and what we reflect. Will they see love, kindness, compassion coming from us? Or will they see hatefulness? Will they notice that we stand out differently from the world? Would people say that about you, that you stand out differently from the world? Will they see you and say, we are a peculiar people, 1 Peter 2:9. Will our silhouette be lovely to see? Sometimes mine isn't always lovely to see. When it boils down to it, we draw on our own silhouettes just by the way we live our lives. We draw the shape of what we want to be chiseled like in our reflection. After my 300-pound experience, I work out every day. It's an hourly battle. It's a daily battle. We chisel ourselves. We've got a couple of P3 people here that chisel themselves because they don't want to be like the world, keeping our body in submission. We draw the shape of what we want to become. We decide what it is to be cut out and what tiny details we want are going to be kept. Nowadays, with all the paint and photo programs, you can make a silhouette digitally. I can make mine. It'd be looking good if I made mine. But in the past, a silhouette portrait was made by using the bright light and tracing around the shadow of a person you wanted to reflect. So unfortunately, that little girl with the ponytail, that was me. It was me. It wasn't the digitally enhanced and all this fun stuff. The closer the person was to the light, the more defined the silhouette would be. Closer to the light, to define our silhouette. Isn't that so like us? The closer we are to our light, the Lord, the more defined our silhouette will be. Some of those traits of a godly Christian in Proverbs 31, and women especially, states, will start surfacing. We should see those things manifest themselves. When we trust and rely on Christ, our silhouette will reflect what it should in contrast, shape, details, and profile. And my question is to you, so does your silhouette reflect that you are a godly Christian person? Would you be proud to put your silhouette up against anybody in the life that you're with today? Our silhouette reflection should reflect who you are as a Christian and not be afraid of those things. And I thought we all should take a look at our silhouettes, how you are in the mirror. Because we see each other through our eyes, but our silhouette is just nothing. We can't see anything. This black covers a multitude of sins. Is that the way it's going to be on Judgment Day?